This is a wake-up call we better listen to as America sails the most turbulent waters in a long time from both outside and in. Elon Musk has a dire warning for the weak leadership at the wheel, but that's just scratching the surface because this conversation he had with Lex Fridman is a window into how that fear resulted in his official endorsement of Donald Trump last month. And honestly, I need to tell you about a series of global and domestic events that make that warning ring truer than it ever has. So subscribe to the channel for more discussions like this and listen to what he said before I tell you more about it.
There was tragically an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. After this, you tweeted that you endorse him. What's your philosophy behind that endorsement? What do you hope Donald Trump does for the future of this country and for the future of humanity?
You know, people tend to take, like, say, an endorsement as, well, I agree with everything that person has ever done their entire life 100% wholeheartedly. And that's not going to be true of anyone. But we have to pick, we've got two choices really for who's president. And it's not just who's president, but the entire administrative structure changes over. And I thought Trump displayed courage under fire, objectively. He's just got shot. He's got blood streaming down his face and he's like fist pumping, saying fight. That's impressive. Like, you can't feign bravery in a situation like that.
Now, here's something that's easy to miss in the hyper-partisan coverage you'll probably see of Musk's endorsement. It's despite the fact that he's had some friction with Donald Trump in 2020, he's able to separate himself from the debate and realize that America's missing the most important component for peace, and that's strength. And in global politics, weakness is a vacuum that either gets exploited or it gets filled by someone else. The last 4 years of frail Biden presidency may have some redeeming qualities for someone that wants to look for them, but that glaring weakness has only allowed havoc to wreak in geopolitics. I think Elon Musk understands something about this new world order that it's time we understood too. It's that after the fall of the Soviet Union, we're again seeing the rise of a multipolar world where power and influence is a tug of war. The reigning philosophy of international politics is a cold kind of Machiavellianism. If a country can take fair or unfair advantage of their opponent's weakness, they will. For example, international rules and laws may call it illegal for Russia or China to invade neighboring lands like Ukraine or potentially Taiwan, but when push comes to shove, there's really nothing other than a counterbalancing power that can stop them. It's no wonder then that some of the most chaotic wars that threaten to flare up any moment have started since 2022, all while the man in the White House can hardly even command respect at home, let alone in front of cold foreign autocrats like Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. If Donald Trump's brief moment of courage can help that balance in the other direction, that's clearly something Elon wants the rest of America to consider.
The President of the United States has got to represent the country. And they're representing you. They're representing everyone in America. Well, I think you want someone who is strong and courageous to represent the country. That's not to say that he is without flaws. We all have flaws. But on balance, and certainly at the time, it was a choice of, Biden, poor guy, has trouble climbing a flight of stairs, and the other one's fist pumping after getting shot. It's just no comparison. I mean, who do you want dealing with some of the toughest people and, other world leaders who are pretty tough themselves?
And here's an uncomfortable thought. If you think the world 5 years from now is going to be a milder and more peaceful place than it is, you're probably mistaken. If you understand the history of human conflict and war, you realize one thing above all else, it's that times of crises are when individuals and countries find the cover they need to snatch what they always wanted to. Imagine a prison that's peaceful and well-governed. It's very difficult for a single prisoner to be the odd one out and try to get what he wants, but if there's the chaos of a prison riot, that's a prisoner's best cover to find an escape hatch, try to snatch something he always wanted, or to seek vengeance for something he was waiting for. The international order is a bit like that prison, and it seems just like the riots have only started. It's not just the war in the Middle East since October 7th in Ukraine conflict that entered its third year, but also potential invasion of Taiwan by the Chinese Navy or a possible overthrow of the UK government by the massive riots that have enveloped the country over the past month. Does anyone really think Kamala Harris or Joe Biden can command enough respect and fear to bring the chaos to in half? And if not, does anyone really want to risk trying? The truth is that much as people may criticize Trump, perhaps Musk wants you to wake up to the truth. Despite all his ills, Donald Trump on July 13th demonstrated a quality that the world desperately needed from the American leadership right now, and that's strength. It's the counterbalance of power on the world stage where nothing else. People like Xi, Putin, and Kim can at least fear the unpredictability of someone like Trump before casually walking over entire countries and starting wars that may last years to come.
I think we want a secure border. We don't have a secure border. We want safe and clean cities. I think we want to reduce the amount of spending that we're, at least slow down the spending. Because we're currently spending at a rate that is bankrupting the country. The interest payments on U.S. debt this year exceeded the entire Defense Department spending. If this continues, all of the federal government taxes will simply be paying the interest. And you keep going down that road, and you end up, in the tragic situation that Argentina had back in the day. Argentina used to be one of the most prosperous places in the world. And hopefully with Milei taking over, he can restore that. But it was an incredible fall from grace for Argentina to go from being one of the most prosperous places in the world to being very far from that. So I think we should not take American prosperity for granted.
That financial downturn is also ultimately tied to the global forever wars that America gets itself into without a clear off-ramp. It is estimated that interest payments have surpassed over $650 billion, while close to $200 billion have gone to Ukraine so far in the last 2.5 years. There's gotta be someone that puts an end to this chaos both outside and in. And even if you don't agree that Donald Trump is the man to do that, it's hard to argue that someone like Joe Biden is, or anyone in the current Democratic establishment, as Elon Musk comes to grips with that cold fact about our politics today. Perhaps he's trying to grab onto any semblance of sanity and strength he can find, and it's a statement on the current state of America that he finds that in Donald Trump. Let me know in the comments what you feel about that, because I believe this is a discussion that's only going to become more important as the months and years pass.